Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name's Acacia. Today I'm going to be talking to you about my top 5 books I want to reread this year. I read one of them very recently and I do plan to reread it again this year, even though I've already read it once this year. I just feel as if I didn't get as much out of it as I could have, and I felt as if there was some moments in it that I sort of glazed over, and I feel really bad about it because it's a book that I really think I could enjoy if I would just focus and not get uncomfortable. So I plan to reread it this year. It's a 600-page book, so it's going to take some time, and I'll get to it later in the year, but it is a reread I want to dive into, but I'll get to that in a second. So the first one is actually a series. It's the Cormoran Strike series. This is the Cuckoos Calling by Robert Galbraith, and I have read this before. I haven't actually finished the second and third book, but I do own them and I do plan to read them, but I need to reread the first one in order to continue the series. At least that's how I feel. So I definitely plan to pick this up at some point and do a binge read of the first one and the other two, and then maybe the fourth one will come out this year, maybe, but I'm not holding my breath. And besides, I'm buying them in paperback, so it wouldn't even be that I would get it this year because I'm getting them in paperback, so I'd have to wait a year. But I'm still very excited to dive into these. This is the one that I just read this year already. Actually, I read it last month, and I plan to reread it again already. This is Octavia Butler's Litlth's Brood. I felt like there was a couple of moments where I was super uncomfortable, and I kind of glazed over the context just because I was feeling really weird about the situation, and I don't want to do that, especially to Octavia Butler's books. I feel really strongly that I want to be immersed in her books and fully allow myself to feel and discover what's to be seen in these books. So I definitely do plan to reread this and give it more of a chance that involves me paying better attention. Then this is one I haven't read since junior year. This is The Handmaid's Tale. This is by Margaret Atwood. I have not read this in 10 years, and I've been reading a lot of books that are sort of based or similar to The Handmaid's Tale, definitely inspired by The Handmaid's Tale, but I've really been loving that sort of book, and I've been feeling really strongly about reading them, and I really have enjoyed watching the series of Handmaid's Tale on Hulu, so I definitely think that it's one that I need to revisit and kind of reacquaint myself with. I feel like it's very important to do that, especially since I've been grading other books based on The Handmaid's Tale, and I've been saying that I like other books better than The Handmaid's Tale. I need to check myself on that one before I go and make any more assumptions. So there's that. This one I'm going to be rereading this year, one, because I plan to reread it because of the Shirley Jackson conversation that I'm having where I'm reading all of her works, so I need to reread it anyway. But I really loved it, so I'm excited to reread it again. This was one of my favorite books of 2017. This is Shirley Jackson's The Bird's Nest. I adored this. I thought it was fantastic, and it does have to do with DID, so, right up my street. I'm very excited to read this again. I'm very excited to dive into it again. It's a world that I feel really strongly about, and a story that I feel really intensely connected to. So even with the less than fair evil that's placed on the main character, I definitely still want to read it, and I'm very excited to do so. And I think I will be buddy reading this with Amanda Center. I will link her channel up above. But yeah, I'm really excited. Then the last book was my favorite book of last year, and I think I'm going to try and reread this every year. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but I think I'm going to try. This is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, and I do need to pick up another copy in order to kind of dissect it and to have one copy for annotations and one copy to keep nice, clean, and crisp. So I think I'm going to order a hardcover copy of this so that I can keep that nice and clean and crisp and dissect this one. I'm very excited to dive into this again and to experience it all all over again. I felt so immersed in it and so in love with it, and I just adored it, and I feel really strongly that I want to be able to reread it on a yearly basis and make sure that it stays my favorite book, because I feel like one of the ways to really decide whether or not something is your favorite book is to reread it and see if it holds true to that feeling of love and affection that you have for the book. So definitely picking this one up again. So those are the 5 books that I plan to reread this year. I'm really excited to dive into all of them. I enjoyed all of them the first time I read them, and I will enjoy reading them again, I hope. So I will talk to you all in my next video. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. If you love it, click that subscribe button down below. And if you have any questions, comments, or quandaries, leave them down in the comment box. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye!